Hey guys, what is going on? For those of you who know me, good to see you guys. For those of you who don't know me, my name is DJ. Today I just decided to kind of sit down and just kind of talk about a lot of the stuff going on with people of color in the United States right now. And I thought it would be just a good idea because I know a lot of people who know me probably don't even look at me as black just because of where I'm from, the suburbs. But the reality is I am black, and whether they really realize it or not, I've experienced oppression, racism, pretty much anything that's going on right now. These black people in America, not to the extent obviously, but I have experienced it. So that's like the first point I'm going to talk about is just being black in America. A lot of people don't understand that just being black, you're already at a disadvantage in life. I mean, I went to a pretty much all-white school. I mean, until I was probably 13 years old, I low-key thought I was white because I grew up with my white grandparents, and they kind of never really brought me into that. I'm an African-American, I need to learn my history. So I didn't even get to learn that until, you know, I was already like too late, pretty much. Not too late, obviously, but I think it would have been better for me to be learning as a young child to kind of prepare me for what I was going to go through in life. But yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing a lot of Caucasian people don't understand. Like, living and being black in America can literally get you pulled over. It can get you ostracized. It can get you oppressed. People come up with their own theory on you before even meeting you. And I think that's the first thing white people have to realize, is that being black is a disadvantage, whether or not you want to believe it. And it's been a disadvantage since we were brought over here. So that's my first point. I just feel like everyone should really realize that being black in America is a huge disadvantage. The second thing kind of goes with that is the oppression part. We have been oppressed since we came here. We were 3/5 of a person for how long? And then we finally got voting rights. We had to guess how many jelly beans were in a jar to vote. And then we get voting rights, and African Americans literally have to struggle to find voting polls. 90% of voting polls in Pennsylvania last year were in the suburbs, and only 10% were in the cities. So that just kind of goes to show what's going on with voting. Oppression goes through every single factor of life for black people. Jobs. You know, we have to watch how we do our hair. We have to watch where we get tattoos. We have to watch where we get piercings. We have to watch how we just look. We can't look like we are from the inner city, or we're from a place that isn't as rich as a place where your boss or coworkers are from. We can't look like that. We have to look like we come from where they come from. And I'm not necessarily, for me, like, I was privileged enough to grow up I wasn't wealthy. We didn't have money, but we weren't poor. We weren't poor. And we didn't necessarily struggle all the time like a lot of these people are. So I'm fortunate enough for that, and that's kind of part of the reason why I wanted to make this video, because I'm fortunate enough to be put in a situation where my voice can have a really big impact on a lot of people, because I know a lot of white people. So I think this really could be like a good thing for everybody. Third thing I'm gonna hit on, why we're protesting, why we're kneeling. You guys think George Floyd was only one of a few that have happened in the past couple of years. George Floyd is one of millions of black people that have been oppressed. They have been looked at differently because of their skin color. People react differently because of their skin color, and it's just not fair. And now the fact that it's on video, everyone thinks that it just started happening, and no. They've been killing us since we came over to this country. Just nobody cared. And the crazy thing is, the African Americans still feel like nobody cares because nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. And a lot of people think these marches are turning into protests when it turns nighttime. No, the marchers are not the protesters. or the marchers are not the rioters more so. The protesters are peaceful. I've been to protests. I know they're peaceful. At night, the rioters, white supremacists, undercover cops, those type of groups, Antifa, literal videos of cops putting piles of bricks on the streets to incite rioting just to make Black Lives Matter look like a hate group, which it's not, obviously. We just want equal rights, equal chances, and to stop being oppressed. It shouldn't be that hard. It really shouldn't be that hard. We shouldn't have to fight for something that is a basic human right in the land of the free, right? That's the biggest thing, the land of the free. But the land of the free was literally built off racism. And if you disagree with that, please look at the history of the United States. Built on racism. So yeah, we're marching to get those things. That's what we want. We don't want anything crazy. We just want equal rights. Stop being killed. Stop being oppressed. Stop being stereotyped for being black. Okay? Because yeah, some black people are criminals. There have been criminals that are black. But there have been criminals that are white, Hispanic, Asian, Korean. It doesn't matter. There's criminals in every single race. Your skin color does not make you more prone to be a criminal or not, regardless of the stats. The stats that we have they might be true, right? It might say African Americans are 2 times more likely to go to jail. But why do you think that is? It's not like you think there's something in the African American brain that just makes us worse people. That's not how it is. That's just not how it is. We have less opportunities, less rights, less funding, less housing. We have less resources than the white community. And sadly, that does make some people have to turn to crime to make a living and to survive. And whose fault is that? Like, we didn't pick this, right? We did not pick to have our life set up like this, right? We didn't pick that. But here we are, fighting for the betterment of the world right now. Because whether you know it or not, black people have contributed to the United States in significant ways. And I think we've helped white people out a lot, and vice versa. White people have helped us out a lot too. But the hatred is a lot stronger than the love. And we see that in our current president, Donald Trump. Now, I know this one's gonna get some different sided looks, but Donald Trump is not what we need. He is not helping our community. He has not said a word about the protests except for the riots, and the Black Lives Matters is a terrorist group, which we all know is completely false, not a terrorist group at all. But, you know, the fact that we have a president who can't stand by his people is just insane. Because he stood by the people protesting COVID lockdown when they marched up the Capitol steps with AR-15 strapped to their chest. They didn't get tear gassed. They had weapons. We had signs. We got tear gassed. I personally got tear gassed in the city of Philadelphia protesting peacefully with no warning. Okay? So yeah, us as African Americans, don't think that we're out here making Biden look like he's the best person in the world, because we know he's not. And we know he's not that much better than Trump. Let's be honest here. But we need a leader who is not splitting us apart, which is what we have right now. And I know a lot of white people are gonna bring up, oh, what about the black people that speak out for Donald Trump? They all grew up just like Donald Trump. That's why they're like that. They never went through anything. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I've had police brutality happen to me. I've never had a cop brutalize me, but I've had them stereotype me, think I'm doing something wrong because I'm black, especially in an area like this where I'm one of like 7, 8 black kids, and I'm 6'4", so I'm like a big black person, which is just super intimidating for some reason. Like, I don't think I look any more intimidating than a big white kid, you know? It really is just something that we need to fix. We need to get that stereotype of not all black people are bad. And I think with a president like Donald Trump, it's really making it more so. Like, we're bad, you know? So yeah, I think I'm not gonna say Biden's the best option, but I think we really need a candidate who brings our country together. Also, this is kind of not about Black Lives Matter, this is more about just real life stuff. COVID-19 is a real thing, and if you don't believe that, it's going to affect you in a negative way. If you don't take this seriously, if you don't look at the stats that are going on in the United States right now because of your president, another thing that he's failing to help us, 150,000 plus dead because Donald Trump. You can say that's because they didn't follow protocol, this, that, and the third, but that's because their president didn't follow protocol, right? He didn't want to follow that. So they thought, okay, if he's not doing it, I don't have to do it. Understandable. But that's why we need a better president. Because how are you gonna have a president that is telling people that a contagious disease, an epidemic that we've never experienced before, no one on this planet has been part of something like this before. How is he gonna say it's not real, or it's not killing as many people as it is? You guys saw the Fox News interview, I'm sure everyone did. You know, when Fox News, who loves Donald Trump, is coming at him like that, he's doing something wrong. And you saw, he's a pathological liar. He's a rapist, a fascist, a racist. Like, I just don't know how you can consciously support someone like that just because he's good with money. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And the last point I will make, and it's mainly for white people, but black people like myself, when I was younger, I had to do this too, because I didn't get the satisfaction of growing up in a black family. You know, I didn't get that. I had to grow up with white people, and I never got to learn where I really came from until I did it by myself, okay? So the last thing I'll tell everyone to do is educate yourself on what is going on, or why it's going on, what has happened in the past, why African Americans are mad, and then maybe you'll be able to understand where we're coming from. But until you educate yourself on the actual problems at hand, you're not gonna be able to understand what's going on. Talk to African Americans, get out of your comfort zone. I know a lot of the people that are probably watching this right now don't have African American friends, or don't talk to African American people, like, ever. So I think that's a really big thing, is to educate yourself. Like, people that can support the Confederate flag need to educate themselves, because the actual Confederate flag that people are holding up, the Confederacy did not even use. That flag wasn't made until years after the Civil War was already finished. And for people who think the Confederacy is a real part of your history, the Confederacy lasted 5 years. The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody lasted longer than the Confederacy. Just remember that. So if that's such a big part of your history, you must not have that much history. So please educate yourself before you make statements. Last thing I'll say, people who think we're trying to defund the police and take money out, that's not what we're doing. We're trying to change the police so that they can actually do their job efficiently and right, so that we can stop having incidents like this. Because I agree, not all cops are bad. There are bad cops. There are bad apples. But in a job like being a police officer, there cannot be any bad apples. And that's really just what it comes down to. You can't have bad apples, because people like George Floyd get killed for what? I can't breathe. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That man had his knee on George Floyd's neck. I guarantee you, if that was a white guy, that would have never, ever happened. And that's what I'll leave it with. Just remember, being black in America puts our lives at danger. Like, I feel afraid to go on a jog because I'm black in a white area. So I just hope, like, people that know me well, you can sense my frustration, my fear, and my anger. in this situation. And I hope that you guys can stand behind me and my brothers and sisters as we continue to make a push for a better tomorrow. And until that happens, we will not stop. No justice, no peace.